Welcome everyone to a new episode of On the Rise. My name is Vishal Yathish. On the Rise features top-tier founders and innovators to talk about their journeys and motivations to help inspire the next generation of leaders. Today we're joined by Maanav Khaitan. Maanav is the developer of many innovations. Some examples include Beacon Safety, an app to alert close contacts in unsafe situations, which has gained several thousand users, and Apoyo, an app that helps ensure the safety of Alzheimer's patients. He's also a director at the startup accelerator Free Ventures and is a current student at the M.E.T program at Berkeley. Hi, Mana. Thanks again for joining us today.
Hey, glad to be here. Yeah, happy to talk about anything.
Let's dive right in. Would you mind sharing more about your background and a few of your many projects?
Yeah, for sure. So I was born in India and then grew up in a city called Hyderabad for 18 years of my life. And I sort of got interested in tech maybe when I was 12 or 13 years old. So that's the first time that I learned programming online and then built out like my first iOS app with a friend called Beacon Safety. That was just something that we saw. There was a problem in India regarding public safety, and we decided to solve it using technology. And then just building out that app and seeing like real users gaining value from it and like appreciating what we had built. That sort of inspired me to continue on with my journey in tech. And then over the past few years, I've like worked on a bunch of projects in like different problem spaces and just trying out new tech stacks, trying out new solutions to different things. And I just feel it's really empowering that as just with your laptop, you can really build something that provides real value to real people. And that's the most amazing feeling that I've got.
Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned Beacon Safety. So can you mind diving deeper into what motivated you to build the app?
Yeah, sure. So it was mostly like in the news, like my friend and I sort of saw that there was a lot of different like problems related to like harassment and public safety, and just it wasn't very safe in a lot of places in India back then, and even now to an extent. And so what we really worked on was that we provided a solution where anyone can alert their close friends and their family members whenever they're feeling unsafe. And just that provides an additional safety net where your family can track your location and just make sure that you reach your destination safely. And that was the problem that we sought after to solve. And then we built out our first iOS and Android app. And we were able to get around 2,500 or around 3,000 customers, 3,000 users in total over the past few years. And that's been a really fulfilling experience to like see us actually build out something from scratch and see people like getting value from
it. Mm-hmm. And what were some of the highs and lows throughout your experience building the app as well as gaining users?
Yeah, I think definitely I'd say that we weren't expecting programming and just like the technical part of building out the app to be that challenging. It's like when you're working at 2 a.m. after a long day of coding and then you're like still facing bugs and errors, and it can just be a bit frustrating. And that was my first technical project that I actually worked on. So it was definitely slightly discouraging at times where you didn't know what to do. But I think we pushed through it, and the highs definitely overcome the lows. I think the highs outweigh the lows any day. Like just seeing people use the app, I think that made everything worth it. And I'm grateful for the experience because that honestly inspired me to get into tech in the first place. And I wouldn't be in tech today if it wasn't for that experience. So really, really grateful for it.
Mm-hmm. And what lessons from that first project do you think carried over to some of your other initiatives?
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson that I sort of got from that experience is like, you can always build out solutions just for the sake of building it. Like, sure, it's like intellectually curious and you want to learn something new about a certain technology, and sure, go ahead and build out a project. But what I really learned from that was the importance of solving like user problems and solving user pain points and having that as a focus and not just a solution. Because I realized that a lot of the features that we were building a lot of the users didn't really want it, and then it didn't appeal to them in any way to solve any of the like core problems. And so we really had to dive down and focus on the problems that mattered to them the most. And that sort of carried on in my projects after that, where now when I'm starting a project, I don't even think about the solution. I first spend a couple of weeks like trying to understand like what is the pain point, what are the use cases, why do people want something like this, and only then do I kind of consider that how can we solve these pain points. And I think that's something that any founder, anyone, just any builder in general should keep in mind while building something.
Mm-hmm. And how did these experiences with both Beacon Safety and your other initiatives help you evaluate other early stage startups at university incubators like Free Ventures?
Yeah, for sure. So look for and analyze like what problem is a certain startup or certain like team of founders solving, like what problem are they solving. And then another thing that I really kind of care about now is I look at the team, especially at very early stage. I think the team is what makes the company. And so if it's a bunch of driven founders who have some sort of personal motivation behind the problem or some experience with that problem space, I usually tend to lean towards those companies because I feel that having a great team is like the prerequisite for having a great company in the long term. So those two things are something that I really deeply care about now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you. That was very illuminating. So, congrats again for being selected for the MET program. How has your experience with this program been so far?
Yeah, I this was my dream program ever since high school, and so once I got in, I committed, and it's been an amazing experience so far. I think it's just the perfect thing for what I want to do. It's like since I'm interested in both tech and business, it really couldn't be a better program for me to launch my career. And just having the community of other students in my cohort who are also interested in similar things, that's the most valuable part. It just you just build such a strong, tight knit network of people and of friends, of really close people, and I think that's been the best part about it.
Mm-hmm. And the MET program is renowned for providing close mentoring to its small cohort of students, like around 50 students per year. What unique experiences or opportunities have you been able to access through the program?
Yeah, for sure. I think firstly, just the MET network itself, like having our board members who are always helpful and always willing to talk and to chat about anything that's on our mind, and then having a founder as well, and the opportunities that he gives us regularly, and also just there's certain things like we have something called the MET strategy group where we get to work with startups in the Bay Area for contract or consulting projects, and I think that's been really valuable for some of us. I've worked on it for a semester, and I really learned a lot from my project, and I think a lot of my friends say the same as well. And just having that sort of access to these opportunities is something that I'm really grateful about.
Mm-hmm. And thank you so much. To close this out, one final question.
Mhm.
If you could give one piece of advice to aspiring entrepreneurs and innovators, what would it be?
Yeah, I honestly, the one thing I'd say is that when you're young, you don't need to set out to build the next billion-dollar company. Like if you're in high school or in college, like I think the most important thing you can do right now is learn, and that is sort of what I'd focus on is just like expose yourself to as many industries, as many different types of company, as many different experiences you can, meet as many people as you can, just absorb right now. Like this is the time to absorb and just learn. And then you can always apply that in the future to any company or any like venture that you work on. And I think just having that like innate curiosity to just learn and ask questions and just learn how the world works. I think that would be the most valuable for you in the future.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's been the most valuable for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Mana, for your time.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It was great to be here.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Stay tuned for my next episode and see you all soon. Bye.